Welcome back to another Clifton Cameras video, and you join us today in the bustling city of Bristol on a less than perfect day, but we do have some sun coming on in. But my hopes are high because today I have the Nikon Z7, their full-frame mirrorless camera. Let's see what it can do. Now the first thing I want to talk about is the feel and handling of this camera. Any Nikon user is going to be instantly familiar with this. It is missing a few buttons, and what is there has been moved around a little bit for the purposes of space, but just spend a bit of time with it and you'll be able to refamiliarize yourself with it in no time. We have two easy to access, fully customizable function buttons. The grip is, well, for my hand at least, is perfect. A little larger than some of its Sony counterparts, and the connections are very easy to access as well. Thanks to the camera's 45.7 megapixel full-frame back-illuminated CMOS sensor, the image quality is, as you would expect, outstanding. Add to this its 493 phase detection autofocus points with 90% coverage, a new 5-axis 5-stop VR system, and a continuous shooting speed of up to 9 frames per second, and you have yourself a pretty impressive first entry into the mirrorless full-frame market. There is, however, as we all know by this point, only a single XQD card slot. This is a shame and will no doubt be a deal breaker for some. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the EVF, which I'm not normally a fan of. Now this has a 3.6 million quad VGA OLED display, but the smoothness and the quality, the image quality of this is absolutely outstanding, to the point where, quite frankly, after a couple of minutes of using it, I actually forgot what I was looking through. You can shoot up to 9 frames per second with minimal shooting noise, and up to 8 frames per second with no mechanical noise. Joining me now is Mr. John Cabot, who in 1497, I believe it was, crossed the Atlantic to North America, and apparently predated Christopher Columbus, so a bit controversial there. But yeah, apparently he's the actual guy who sailed on the boat that we were just on, so that's a recreation of it. Bit of history for you there. While we're here, the OLED display on this thing is absolutely fantastic. I like the black on white, white on black even, as opposed to the green on black that is normally there. Very easy to see. Let's talk a little about the autofocusing system. I found that in photo mode that it was fast and very quiet. I did, however, find that it was a bit more unreliable in video mode. Now I've just been trying out the FTZ adapter to just see how it is with the autofocusing, the aperture changes, etc., and it's just as responsive as it is with the Z-mount lenses. Now unfortunately there are only two available at the moment. You've got the 35mm 1.4 and the 2470 f4, I believe it is. But if you do have an extensive Nikon collection of lenses, then you can use this lens and you're going to be able to use them just as well as you did before. The only thing that's worth mentioning is that it's going to go from 5-axis to 3-axis, but you'll still be able to incorporate any VR that you've got on your existing lens. Matt and I have had to come inside to get out of the rain because, unlike the Z7, we are not weather sealed. This has the same dust and weather sealing as the D850. And while we're here, I just wanted to talk a bit about the battery as well. This has the EN-EL15B battery, which can get up to 330 shots off a single charge. However, having said that, we're well over halfway through our day here. I've probably got a good 200 shots taken already, and I'm not even for a quarter of the battery yet. Mind you, I haven't done any 4K yet, so we'll get onto that in a second. It's also worth mentioning that you can buy separately an AC adapter, which allows you to run the camera straight off the mains and charge the battery internally. Now you can use the old 15 and 15A batteries that you would have had in some of the D-series cameras, but you won't be able to use those with the AC adapter. The 3.3-inch tilting touchscreen was a joy to use. The 2.1 million dot touch LCD looked amazing, and the touchscreen itself was very responsive. The screen doesn't fully articulate, however, which is a shame, but by no means a deal breaker. Now, I'm a Nikon user myself, and if there's one thing I have to admit that Nikon's never been particularly revered for, it's its video capabilities. Normally we use Sony's for the videos, and normally I'm on the other side of the camera, which I'm thinking after this video is probably the right thing to be. But I'm going to check out the video capabilities now to see whether this stands up. The camera is capable of 4K UHD at up to 30 frames per second, which looks great, but it's also capable of 1080 Full HD at up to 120 frames per second, and this is where the real fun can be had. It is also worth mentioning that the Z7 catches up to 100 megabytes per second H.264 8-bit internal capture, but when used in conjunction with an external device such as an Atomos, you get 10-bit 422 full frame and the use of N-Log for even better grading. So that was the Nikon Z7, a camera that I thoroughly enjoyed using. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you want to be notified of further Clifton Cameras content, make sure that you like and subscribe.